I'm not speaking for the Admiral, but I know you two are upset. And he looks at Nim. Does Nim look upset?
No, Nim is just very confused at what fuck means.
Oh.
Yeah, he pieced out of there.
You're still on something.
Yeah, so Fred pieced out of there because he didn't want to deal with the issue of what does fuck mean.
Her dad probably has 3 of those bottles.
Yeah, no. Okay, so the thing you need to understand, Nim
Bottles
comes
are like party favors for him.
Yeah. So you have to understand, Nim's dad is like high nobility, like above a baron, like super rich. They just hate Nim.
Yeah.
So Nim may not be involved, but Nim knows about his drinking habits. So that's why she's like, you drink like my father. Ugh.
Hyala's just like, what's money?
Yep.
Prin looks at Nim and he's just like, he stops for a minute. He rolls his eyes and says, Nim, fuck is an expletive. And he just takes a little sip of the wine. He's down his third glass. He sets it down pretty hard and he's just like, alright.
But what does it mean?
You've
Means
read a book on reproduction?
do not get
Yes.
into this.
Yes.
I'm gonna
bad.
turn around. I'm gonna turn around and peer over my shoulder at Hyala. Hyala, please.
What? She's
Don't.
more than old enough to know.
Yes, tell her in private. I don't want to hear about this.
Well, then leave.
Ordered goodbye by the cat.
Oh, I just got shot.
I thought I was the only one in the party with a gun. Christ.
I'm gonna.
Nah,
All right. Well,
Shala has one loaded in her fucking throat.
I'm gonna slowly swivel in my chair, slam my journal shut.
Wait, so Nim goes, wait, what's happening?
Hold on. So, Hyala will nod her head a minute to have Celeste stay.
I'm just gonna stand in front of. I'm just gonna stand and look down, or I don't even know if I'd be looking down at you because you're so tall, even when you sit.
Perhaps you could go and get a glass of water. Surely it doesn't taste fantastic.
I'm not gonna say anything. Is there still wine in the bottle?
Yes.
In the
All right,
kegger.
I'm gonna throw it overboard.
Jeez.
Celeste, what the fuck?
If you need me, I'll be in my quarters.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Clean soil.
Yoink.
No, because I was gonna see if prestidigitation I could catch it.
No, but Mage
No,
Hand
you
would.
need Mage Hand.
Mage Hand would.
Yeah,
you
mage.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I think
Please
Celeste
do.
has it. But does
No, I don't have
do
Mage
you
Hand.
have it? Do you have
Yeah.
it?
She used Mage Hand last session.
Yeah, I high-fived it.
Oh yeah. What? Huh?
She had to leave for a sec.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then just.
Sorry, I got kicked out once again.
Ah. Oh. Well, we can
She's
hear
Discord
you.
is evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really doesn't like you. Like me, I mean. It doesn't like me.
Is there another bottle of wine, or was that the only bottle?
Well,
There
does
was a
she
red
use
and a white.
Mage Hand to catch it?
Yeah.
There was a red one and a white one. Did you throw out the white one or the red one?
The one that was closest to me was the red one. That's the one I was drinking.
Okay. Well, I wasn't drinking that one, but still, Prince is gonna be like, what the
You
fuck?
should still mage hand it because that would
Yeah,
be
no.
funny.
I did.
Yeah,
Nim
she
had
does.
this.
Can I? Do I want to shoot the bottle? At
Bro,
you
that's
during the
a
attack?
much bigger deal than what I did.
Jeez.
Oh, please,
No,
please,
I'm not going to. So, opposite to what you thought, Mr. DM, it's not Prin who's sort of blue screening. It's a little bit of Samson.
He can't
He's
comprehend.
got like the anime shade over his eyes.
boy.
Oh no. Okay, Prince is gonna notice that shit because obviously he spent the most time with them. So he's gonna after being exasperated when the fucking wine bottle got thrown, but caught, thankfully. So he kind of just.
It was
Yeah, it
simple
just
misdirection.
It goes over the side of the boat, and then you just see a little hand just bringing it back up.
It was a very
view.
weak toss.
Yeah, there was enough to throw over the fucking. Over the
you hurled the fucking kegger overboard. They brought you kegs.
It was the wine bottle.
Wait.
No, the wine came in a keg. They brought 3 kegs.
How heavy is it? How heavy is the keg? Because
I
that
didn't know
depends on
that.
if I can even.
Heavy enough.
Less to live.
Heavy
I
enough.
don't know how heavy that
The
is.
both of you are pretty small.
I have -2 to strength, by the way.
It's
Oh
literally
my God.
heavy. Well, adrenaline is a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
Of course.
But it's light enough that you can grab it with mage hands, so you're good.
Okay.
I don't care
I
about the
didn't
success
know
of your
exiting a conversation dramatically is enough to get the adrenaline pumping.
I'm furious. Celeste is furious right
Celeste
now.
is...
Why?
What do you mean, why? Bryn is gonna look at Samson.
Sufren literally only left because he did not want to endure
Yeah.
whatever was happening with the explanation
probably-
of what does fuck mean. Everything else he would have been fine to sit there with, but he wanted to get the hell out of Dodge.
I will tell you this now. Nim is the only swear word Nim has ever heard is hell before. That's it,
No.
and that's not even that bad.
That's
No.
that's
You probably-
actually like a place where people live.
Yeah, you probably
Yeah.
heard it in the context of the plane.
Zanzibar
Exactly.
is probably more of a curse.
For real.
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, so whenever
So-
someone says an expletive, Nim's gonna ask.
What does that mean?
Exactly.
Why does Nim not own like a dictionary?
What is a cunt?
What?
But how many dictionaries have swear words in them?
What is a skank?
All of
Actually, a
them.
lot.
What?
Actually,
Yeah,
all of
they-
them.
Yeah.
They use they all have the words in it, but Nim only used the dictionary when she didn't know what the word meant.
Yeah,
Oh.
probably
She
hasn't
does
heard
not
that
have one
often.
handy.
Yeah, does not have one handy. She's not that kind of nerd.
So you
What
weren't
does he
like
care?
ordered by one of your grandparents to like read the dictionary like I was. I see. Okay.
No, okay, so the thing is,
Okay.
my mom had us
Weird
copy
flex.
down. My mom had us copy down the definitions growing up, so I had to read the dictionary several times, but
What are
Nim
people's
didn't.
lives?
I grew up reading medical textbooks.
Man, I did this all on
This-
my own will.
No, I mean no. This isn't. I'm sorry. This isn't Print. That's me. That's a person.
No,
Yeah.
I got that. but,
Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway,
That's
anyway.
out of character. What the heck?
Yeah. Anyway, Print is looking at Samson and he's just like, are you? Hello. Are you alright?
So you get Samson's attention, and he like looks right past you.
He's
over
just
to
crying in
Sufrin
laughter.
10,000
With-
yard stare.
With
Oh, boy.
like with like an emotion you've never seen. Honestly, it might not be something you might have ever seen before, but it is an intense amount of covetous.
Oh.
Wow, that's a word I don't think I've ever heard more than once in my lifetime. Can I get a definition?
Yeah, I haven't heard that in a while. Holy shit.
I've heard a lot of words. That's not one of them.
It's just like greed, isn't it?
It's
It's
an
like-
intense, seething greed.
Yeah.
Like
He's
wishing
like,
to
I want
have
to be away.
just absolutely seething and wanting to have that amount of money. Which, to be fair, saving that much, it still means he makes a decent paycheck, but he still had to save 60 years just to get that.
Keep in mind, Celeste has never seen a platinum before.
Yeah.
Meeting
And
retail.
also, also keep in mind is you know what Samson would do with that much platinum.
Oh, yes, I absolutely know.
So this intense like almost a starving beast to its first prey in years.
Oh Jesus Christ.
Are you gonna rob
I'm trying my best not to,
Oh boy.
because I know it'd be a bad idea.
Yeah, Prin like notices that he's like, you're not looking at him, and he kind of looks behind him, and he sees your friend, and he looks back at you, and he's just like,
Notice me,
You know-
senpai.
He told you that you wouldn't have enough money to afford the bottle.
Oh, I know.
Because he knows he barely could afford the bottle.
Yeah, but the fact that it was that much is pretty fucking.
Yeah, a lot of money is very different from Celeste and him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Samson is. Alright. I think. I don't want to say anything stupid. Because you seem. Upset. He's not saying anything.
Oh, so while this
The one
happens,
who
Nim is
usually cheers people is really angry. No one
Yeah,
knows.
Samson,
do
he's
the
fucking
plot.
fuming. He's tilted.
Hella tilted.
Yeah, like he's like looking. He like Prin noticed that he's like, there's like this weird hint of concern, like because you know he's not a fucking sociopath, so he is like concerned a bit. Cause...
Wow.
Oh, really?
Glad that was
not.
specified.
I had no
Not.
idea prior.
Alright, bitch. Whatever. But yeah, I mean,
He's far
not.
too self-conscious to be a sociopath.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody
is.
thought that.
Shut up.
Sociopath
Samson
usually
maybe.
doesn't. Hey! No! Wow.
And Samson, Prin's just like, hey, maybe we should not. He realized what he's about to say is gonna be very fucking suspect, so he's just gonna swallow. He's gonna swallow, and he's gonna be like, I think it's time for bed.
no. Wait, Nim goes. Wait, we still have to talk about if we're gonna take the offer or not.
Yeah, you have
The
1
offer.
hour after dinner.
Yeah.
What?
Was this still dinner?
Yes.
It's wrapping up.
You guys already
So,
got
like,
my
half-
answer.
Things gotta, you know, get a little bit of a move on. So, as much as I'm loving this, time's ticking away.
No. Next
I'm,
session.
I'm
No.
assuming that. I'm assuming you guys would like to ride on a pirate ship. I'm assuming that's just what you guys want to do.
Fuck off.
Jeez.
You're not there!
I know. The way he said that was so demeaning.
What does fuck off mean? I Babu, what does fuck off mean? Tell.
I mean, 'cause,
Tell
like,
or I
you know,
pop pigtails
He's
off.
actually saying this to every one of them, like.
Yeah, all of the everyone minus one.
Yeah, like because it seems like you guys prefer the firepower, so I don't blame you.
But I already have the firepower.
He looks at Daniela.
Oh no, nobody said that. I was just commenting on the fact that he is literally firepower.
Yeah.
Oh, you.
No, she's quiet and just waiting until she can finish explaining what fuck is to Nim.
Uh,
Out of everything, that's what you choose to talk about.
I couldn't
anything
have
else.
picked a better request. I can't wait for this. Fuck the time. We'll go as long as we can.
I can't
I
wait for
wanna
Samson
hear.
to get over himself and like snap back to reality
Oh,
during
there goes
mid
gravity.
like yelling thing and just like, oh.
God.
I was
God.
done zoomed out so long, I'm now hearing about the birds and the bees with a pigtail popping pipsqueak. Any Hoozala Methuselah.
Nim just shrugs.
Trunks and-
Yeah, so Nim's like, I don't particularly care either way.
Alright, well. So we either stay. The offer was staying here or to go on the pirate ship, basically, yeah?
Look, as
Is that
long
it?
as there's a warm bed, Nim doesn't care.
Yeah, the options are, you know, force the fleet to go through the Sea of Zanzibar, not knowing how many more Hydrasks you may have to encounter, or go on the
I'm
Umber
still in the
Rose,
fucking
which, beyond what you know, seems to be the only vessel, for whatever reason, maybe firepower, maybe something else, that can actually get across the seas without necessarily having to deal with the issue, or at the very fucking least, it's still floating, as an indication of
Yeah.
surviving.
Correct.
And it's not like
He's
it's
gonna
manned by
say-
teenagers. They're all, you know, older people.
He's gonna say out loud, alright, well, it clearly seems that the pirates from Zanzibar would know more about the seas. We might be able to get there a bit sooner. Without getting the fleet in more peril. I don't want that to happen to them again.
Nim just doesn't want to save them again.
Schmoozy music to the $1 million price tag.
Alright, so
Most
Nim's the
of it would be
sociopath
beneficial.
confirmed.
I thought I was bad.
Nim's been drinking. Her judgment is failing. By the way, I'm warning you now. After all you drank, you are going to be hungover the next morning.
Oh yeah, I already planned on it.
Oh, not you. I'm talking.
Honestly,
Nim
Oh,
Yeah.
specifically.
I thought I drank a lot too.
You drink
Yeah,
a lot, but
surprised
you're
I-
also older.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have drunk 3 glasses.
You
I have a
only ended up
fucking
fucking
high
wasted because you drank an entire tanker of bourbon.
Yeah.
You're
No,
still
I drank-
fine now.
I drank like glasses, like a lot more, and then also like drunk that. So yeah, shit added up. But yeah, Print is good because he's hardy as shit.
You know,
he's
you're
actually stopped
hardy.
drinking.
Samson's capable, although his brain's still fucking. His brain is still hearing the sound of fucking shekels clinking to game. Cha-ching, 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 cha-ching.
Every time Sufren opens his mouth now, all Samson hears is cha-ching, 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 cha-ching.
If
Yeah.
I were not wearing goggles, my eyes would be replaced with shekel signs.
God, wow.
Yeah, it's like a
Jesus,
Charlie
yeah.
Brown parrot now, but instead of hearing wah, 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 it's just ching, 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 ching.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, you know, he's just gonna say, all in favor to get on the pirate ship.
A
so we
pirate
can keep
ship.
about them being in trouble.
She'll
Them
nod
just-
her head.
Nim will just say, "I'll follow wherever we go."
Alright, that's 2. What about you, Samson?
You still get no response from him.
Hmm.
Cha-ching, cha-ching,
Nim.
cha-ching, cha-ching.
Nima, should I douse him in water?
No.
God.
Okay, what the fuck is going on?
Is someone
know.
cleaning their clothes on a washboard?
No, I was shaking my ammo case full of pennies and quarters and dimes.
Oh,
That
that's
sounded like death.
yeah.
Yeah, don't you know? I
That-
keep my money in a 50 caliber ammo case.
That's not a good idea, but
I'm sure that Samson would like to be on the pirate ship because they have all the guns and all that.
I honestly
I don't
thought you were
usually-
gonna say cowboys and pirates are the same thing, pretty much.
No, oh my god, no. But no, he's not gonna say that. I mean, realistically speaking, I don't want them to be in trouble anymore. I don't want to be a liability. They've already done enough for us, so sure, why not? We can get on the pirate ship, whatever.
so our answer is yes.
Yes, yes. Yes. I guess. You know what? I'll go tell him. He's gonna stand up slowly and just shoosh over to Sifrin.
I actually have a long list of questions to ask your friend, so Nim will follow.
So as
You
the
do?
two of them enter,
Yes.
my cone of vision, but like fixated on Sufren, I'm just gonna snap back, be like, "Hey, what happened now? Where'd everybody
Zoned
go?"
out.
Oh, yeah.
Mommy.
What happened?
Don't worry about it. And I'm gonna hide my my left hand, which I realized I was literally like digging my fingers into my own palm for the longest time.
Wow.
Hyala's not gonna let that slide. She's just gonna hold on. I'm just trying to think of the word. We can't have you going non-responsive in the middle of a more crucial situation.
Yeah, Samson, get it together. God.
Yeah, don't be like Prin. I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. I had to. It was gold. Eddie, you understand?
Oh, I understand.
Oh, I thought there was gonna be a butt.
No.
No, there's no butt on that.
No, yeah.
I'm
There's no butt, yeah.
I'm better than that, but I understand.
You're not better than that. Fuck you.
I am like the one person trying not to kick Prin while he's down.
He's not down anymore.
What's wrong? What's wrong?
I know. Thanks to who?
Kiala.
Me.
Right.
Yeah, basically Kiala. Kiala and alcohol, the two cures for dragons.
Alright, what were you gonna say?
Alcohol.
Alcohol.
The alcohol.
Alcohol.
Alcohol,
Alcohol.
bottled by Jade Manufacturing and Bottling.
Don't worry about me. I doubt that'll ever happen again.
How can you say that for certain?
It's gonna happen again.
Yeah.
That's what we call foreshadowing.
She's gonna lean forward with her hands on the table and just like stare until he answers.
Intimidation.
Yeah, roll intimidation.
Gosh.
I'm interested in it. Let's roll intimidation. Thanks for the roll suggestion.
Gosh.
Double ones! You know what? I think on everything else, normally a check I won't look for nat 20s or crit fails. However, that is a
What
nat.
happens if you roll too many over 20?
That is a double nat 1. I think that counts. I think that deserves it.
Okay, so can I so there's a bit of dissonance here as Kiala, who I assume is like definitely the predator type of like a hunter, get like everything, just forces herself to get like a word out of Samson. But all Samson sees is this.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking that instead of growling, she actually purrs.
Oh no. She doesn't do either.
No. So, see, what happens, I'm going off, because Eddie, you and me were thinking the same idea. So what happens is she believes that she is attempting to give a flat affect intimidation as she normally would. But instead, all Simpson sees is the cutest, darndest little kitty he's ever seen in his life. And for the first time ever, it genuinely looks like Kiala's got cutesy, interest written on her face. A complete betrayal. Whether it be the angle that her head is actually at, or what have you. She just looks like the darndest, cutest little thing ever. And you may now decide whether that has any effect on Samson or not.
Oh, that's a good one, little kitty.
Wow.
I'll cut you a deal. Since you seem so uncharacteristically curious, I'll give you an answer whenever you're willing to spill little beans of yourself. Sound like a deal? And then, like, not even waiting for her to respond, I'm just gonna get up with I'm just gonna get up from the table with a. So wait, which alcohols are left on the table?
there's still the 3 kegs left.
I'm gonna take the 2 wines and then leave.
No, the 2 wines this time.
Just one under each arm.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take the 2 kegs of wine and dip.
Wait, why are you taking the wine?
The bourbon.
You got more important things to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Mother.
like actually laughing all the way back down.
Okay.
Like,
Fucking.
down
You
the
Once-
cabin.
gremlin.
Once Kala is alone at the table, she's gonna take a shot of bourbon.
You son of a bitch.
Do you wanna? Is there anything that comes out of that? Or is that it? She just takes the
Probably
shot.
not. She was just like, I think his comment actually kind of got to her.
Oh.
The
I don't
one
even-
about like wanting to hear about who she was, because that's not something she's used to. So she was just like, I don't know how to deal with this, and also I kind of just want to be spiteful and only drink now that he's gone.
I need liquor in order to process this.
Oh god, we've had a full 5 breaks. Oh, the 3 of them were broken on the price tag. Nim got broken technically on what does fuck mean, and now Kiala got broken by somebody giving a shit. Also, Kiala, roll me perception.
Perception. That. Okay, I'm like scared now. I'm gonna grab my real dice and
Base-
just like
base
have
roll.
really good luck. Okay.
I can't
What was
believe
it?
Perception.
You're beating base roll.
Perception.
Oh, okay. Back to normal.
So, you literally, you look up at the table directly across from you on the other deck, and you see that all 3 sailors are just sitting there with shit-eating grins, staring at you. They saw you drink the bourbon. And they kind of
She nods her head to them.
they kind of just look at each other with a Larry Moe and Curly kind of look like,
Oh my god.
and they go back to what they were, they go back to their meal. They just,
I kind of just expected her to look at them and then just her claws just emerged from her eyes.
Yes.
but yeah, no, the sailors know, so God only knows who else will be told. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But anyway, we
I
come
can't
to.
believe I rolled snake eyes on that.
Yes!
Great.
I'm just like looking at it now.
That's gonna be the rule. The ability checks, 1s and 20s, don't actually matter, much like they normally do. But since we're rolling double numbers, Snake Eyes or 2020 will in fact have an effect, because that's just too statistically rare to pass up.
There's a story I should tell you from one of my other campaigns, but I'll get to that later.
Yeah, save it till after the session,
Yeah.
because we're still trying to burn through time. You haven't even fucking set foot on the Ember Rose, and there's still stories to
We're
tell.
supposed to be there by the end of this.
I was hoping you'd actually been on Zanzibar by the end of this, but
How many times do I have to tell you is you should never expect things to go as fast as you plan
Yep.
them.
you know what?
Never.
That's fine. We're playing the long game anyway. So wait, you two, you two gotta talk to some friend.
Yeah.
Oh,
And also,
I also
you
wanted
can't
to
tell
talk
me
to-
this isn't worth it.
this is absolutely worth it. I have no qualms. But like everybody's eager to
no.
make the landfall.
So real quick story. So you know how only one of my earphones is working? When I rolled the double one, I like leaned my head back to laugh, and the one that was working popped out, so I didn't actually get to hear everyone's first laugh.
Oh no!
It was just like triple bad luck.
No!
It was in.
Anyways,
You rolled a one
I
in
couldn't
life.
listen to the stream, I guess.
You rolled a 1 in life
Yeah.
and 2 in D&D. You rolled triple 1.
Roll a double one in life.
Okay, so
No, that's called an
Sufren.
early death.
Yes.
Anyway,
Oh.
Sufren,
Yeah,
you both
Sufren.
approach. Prin approaches first. Go! My feet hurt
I mean,
from pacing
I'm,
around my room.
I mean, I guess I'm gonna be the one to initiate. Excuse me, Admiral. I fucking hate myself. Excuse me, Admiral.
Wait, did you say admirable again?
Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh.
He's drunk. He's a little tipsy. Fuck you.
You know what? You know what? I was gonna let you slide, but you just said there's a reason in character, therefore it actually came out of your mouth. So
Let's see. Well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions.
I'm sorry, I gotta keep it interesting, and that's interesting. So your friend looks at you, and he, you know, you see the two guards. They have their helmets off. Most of their armor is lying around. You can actually see their faces for the first time. They kind of snicker a little bit, and you know he's feeling good. So he looks over and he says, "Ah, yes, it is I, Admirable Pierre Saint Suffren, Grand Tactician of the Avrindali Gram Fleet."
And hard looks at the camera.
But yeah, no, the Suffren turns around and he says, "Yes, young Mr. Bellitus. By any, what brings you?"
We've decided that
Well, it was
we're
fast.
going to be, yeah. Well, we just at this point, I don't mean to speak for everyone in the party, but we don't want you and your men to be in peril. We don't want to be a liability anymore. So.
Not what anybody said. In fact,
Yeah. No.
Wait, he looked.
Liz
The
said
friend
the
looks
opposite.
over.
Ella didn't care until Prin brought up that it would be faster. She like didn't care either way, and then he was like, "It'll be faster," and she's like, "We're doing it."
So, friend
Nim's just like, I don't want to have to save people again.
So friend like cocks an eyebrow and looks at Nim because, you know, he can tell it doesn't exactly sound right. Like,
Nim just shakes her head.
He was like, "I've met these people. They don't think that."
so he does visibly roll his eyes and says, "Ah, so is that so?" And lets you continue.
And additionally, we agreed that it would be faster since they do know the seas, since they dwell here. So we thought it would be a bit easier.
And Sifren kind of just like playfully lifts a finger, like tenses fingers over his chest. Mr. Belatosh, are you saying I can't plot a straight line from point A to point B? Oh, my word!
Prin has stopped working EX.
Admiral, you know I'm not trying to insult your intelligence and skill, but
Oh, please,
more
Mr.
so-
Belatosh, use smaller words. I make it confused. Like, he is full on digging with you.
Oh, I
And-
really wish I was here for that.
Prin once again looks hard at the camera.
There is no hard
He
camera.
looks at
The hard camera is in fact Sufren, so you're now just hard looking at him.
well, yeah.
Ooh,
This is
ooh.
like a POV shot. And he just sighs and is like, "Okay, all right. We've made our decision. So I guess we can do that first thing in the morning when we're rested and probably slightly hungover, but not me. I'm good." And he
As the friend starts chuckling and he just nods his head, he's trying to limit how many he actually how many shots he actually takes.
So Nim will ask, "What's a hangover like?"
You're about to find out.
He looks at him up and down and he's like, "Oh, don't worry, dear. You're gonna know." Yeah, he just gives it like a reassuring, like, yeah, you'll figure it out.
Nim nods as if she understands, but does not in this situation.
Oh, she will.
Yeah.
So, did you both come to liaison the decision on the...
No.
How?
No, I did. I don't know. I'm actually going to retire from that.
As he watches you start to leave, no, Mr. Velitas, stay a while.
He's like, "I don't want to be alone with this drunk child."
No, that's not the reason, but he does stop you and says, there are things we must attend to. Kind of like wink wink nudging. And we can get to that right after.
Oh, and no one's shipping that.
I'm not. Bro.
Wait, what?
No.
Rebel.
What?
Jesus.
It literally went wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
What, you guys started fucking shipping me and the captain when I wanted to talk to
He
him.
didn't.
did it.
No.
I
didn't. No, he didn't say.
See, they're not. They're playing
Oh
a
my,
favorite.
you're just fucking jealous. Shut up. Anyway.
Damn!
Anyway.
Oh man.
So, Prin
This
actually looks
already.
a bit. Prin looks so a bit surprised because he didn't really. I didn't see that shit coming. He was actually intending on like leaving and just going to bed, and it's just like, oh, all right. Should I wait here or
Yes.
should I?
Please.
Alright.
As he directs his attention to Nim. Now,
He's gonna just kind of move off to the side for him.
young Madam Nim, what do you require of my
Young.
time this wonderful night? As he gestures to the sky.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Nim softly claps her hands together and says, I actually have a few questions I'd like to ask.
By all means. Doesn't want to be alone. It's faster. The party wants to. We don't want to be a burden. Put your men at risk.
Okay, so first, Nim says, so, Goblin, why?
He pauses and thinks for a second. Well, if I had to think why, it was a fun thing to do. And as he leans closer to you, he kind of puts up a hand. And it's kind of really funny to use Goblin when you know next to no one will know what you're talking about. As he just winks at her.
Nim
Also,
nods.
What's back?
Yes. What's back?
What is back?
I'm confused.
What? Help! DM in distress! DM confused!
Huh,
Don't worry about it. Let's keep going.
No one's there to help the DM, silly.
Anyway. Next question.
Okay,
What the fuck?
how do you do that sword thing, and where did you get it?
He kind of tilts his head to the side. He's like, sword thing?
Sword, hold on, wait, let me check one thing. Okay, so Nim will cast Prestidigitation to, like, the memory of, like, when he was using the fancy sword thing.
Oh, so she does her own little demonstration?
Yeah, like, freeze frame of him doing the cool sword thing.
Yep.
Oh, you mean this? As he flexes his hand and literally the blade just pops out of thin air with snow and
Yes.
ice coming off of it, and he just grabs it by the half blade. And as soon as he does, he lets go, and it just does the same thing but pieces out. Whoa!
Well, you see, I'm a Genshin Impact character.
I am a 5-star! Do you know how many whales had to come and get me?
Real talk, I pull Persephone.
Well, most of that process is military secret. But I suppose I can tell you that you're familiar with summon weapons to some effect, right? As he
Yes.
kind of gestures a hand. It's very similar in process, except besides conjuring a facsimile, it's a real thing. Like, and he opens up his hands and drops one of his sabers into his hand. This is a real sword. I have it somewhere, and I myself imbue it with its property and call it to my side when I need to, which frees me up from having to carry it as he once again works out, clearly like bringing it into his side and what's the word I'm looking for? Dismissing it.
Showing off?
No, he's not trying to show off, but it's so natural to him that he's not really thinking so much about what he's doing and how it looks. It's like it's second nature. And it's taking so little energy to do it, it's like breathing almost.
So it's like a cantrip at this point.
His total concentration.
It's not a spell, yeah, no, basically. And he tries and thinks on it, he's like, I guess if you had to quantify it, it would be more akin to a cantrip. But it is in fact not exactly the blade that's special, it's what I'm doing to it. Does that make sense? As he's kind of trying to explain it fully without, obviously getting into the classified bits. Yes. And the reason why we particularly do that is as he gestures to the fact that he's sitting on a wooden plank and there's not any swords in the way to be bumping wood. It frees up movement and makes things easier. Like Admiral Bristempet, his weapons are much bigger than mine. So carrying those around, if he doesn't have to, and he's kind of like implying that 2 + 2 = 4, very heavy weapons, carrying them all the time isn't feasible, so the methods they use, it makes it practical.
And Bristempet can also barely fit through doors.
Yes, it is, yeah! Yeah, that's a very good point. He has to, fucking crouch and slide into that office every time he goes in and out. Because, while he's shorter than DePaulo, he's still a good, 8 foot.
So, Nim follows up with, could you teach me?
Can you teach me this classified information?
He starts to giggle and, well, oh, if only you were part of the Avondale Nation. I'd love to see what you could come up with if you joined our ranks. But unfortunately, at this time, no.
Also, Nim hates authority, so she wouldn't.
As he gives you
whoa, you too?
Yeah.
As he gives you a warm smile. For the whole fucking party, except for Prin. Prin is literally just the one thing that is not like the others. But he still belongs. And he looks at you, so, more questions?
Nim will ask. You asked Prin. Okay, this is actually just now story time. I just want to hear a story. If anyone else has something to ask, now is the time. Nim just wants to hear something cool.
I'm asleep.
Yeah, Celeste is asleep. I don't exactly know where Samson fucked off to. I think he's gonna go.
I went to go hoard wine, bring it to my room.
Yeah, he's gonna have a kicker party. At this point, how many kegs do you have?
3? Or well, no, they got.
Let's see.
They got the other one back, right?
I got the 2 wines from this table, and I got the wine and the
bourbon.
The keg of wine and the keg of bourbon from the card game.
I would imagine that you almost finished both of those off after a week and a half of skipping.
Yeah.
So yeah, you were due for a top-up anyway, and then Hyala is still at the table?
Yep.
Spite sip?
Vibing. And that, yes.
Vibing and angry.
So Nim will just ask, tell me a cool story.
Oh, as he kind of leans back. Cool story. As he looks over his shoulder at his guards. Cool stories? And they both start pondering. Well,
What about that time you tried to be me?
what about Admiral, what about that time time that we had to go get that incursion nest off this coast of, Ardia. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Lousy buggers. Alright, paint your picture. Ardia, what was that about? 15 years ago. The other one pipes up. Yeah. Small bandit camp making a makeshift port right off the coast of Ardia. So dense and cut off from the other roads that it's almost impossible to get anybody in there effectively to pull them out. Meanwhile, they're shipping contraband to pretty much half the coastline. Literally, just up and down. And, you know, they're creating a huge issue. You know, any ship actually passes down the sea route, and goes from anywhere from Katma to the upper part of Ardia, slip into the Sardom of Penance. They're just raiding, pillaging. It's getting bigger and bigger. So, it's not exactly something you want to roll full military up into, so King sends out the Mistral. I go. They come with me. We sail about, what was it? We took the entire south route, sir. Yeah, south route. So we go by your homeland, take that entire south route. Of course it had to be early summer. So the rain belt is full in effect. That entire northern current is just pulling in moisture from the Arctic Circle. And it's raining constantly. We finally get there. And we pull up, and we find out that this entire time, they've specifically been attacking boats with weapons. We thought, okay, they don't want to lose anything. They're trying to keep, normal. They're insane. They start running up on the Minstrel with wind kites. Little wind skiffs. Tiny little, pontoon boats. And I look at Will Woodenhelm, right? Oh, yeah. And I look back. I can't believe it. They're actually shooting crossbows at us. Turreted crossbows. As he's, making the hand gesture. And you just see these sticks of wood coming. But I guess they forgot that being cut off from the main road means you can't get metal. The actual arrows, as he points to the port side, are hitting the bow and bending on the wood. So, they're full on trying to be malicious. And I just walk over to the port side, look to my left, look to my right, give a signal, and we just fire a single volley of cannonballs right over top of them. Immediately they start turning tail and run. So, you think that's all. So we're like, okay, they're not nearly as dangerous as we're starting to we were led to believe. It's going to be a simple roundup, not going to be much fighting. They're outmanned, outgunned, outclassed, everything. Simple. Arrest a few people, get them to pay for their crimes, one and done. And then, a giant, I shit you not, stone column comes flying off the coast. And he looks back at the guards, and they're leaning in. Even Gerald's kind of starting schmooze around, because obviously he wasn't old enough to hear this. He wasn't old enough to be around for this story. And the guards are just laughing. And he looks at both Nim and Prin. They had a makeshift siege weapon that could fire full 20-foot by 10-foot pillars of stone like giant bolts. They had a siege weapon of everything they could have gotten. Cannons, guns, rifles, bombs. They choose some weird-ass trebuchet. And the guards are just looking at you waiting for a reaction.
What does that mean?
Oh, yeah! So, Nim will wait till he pauses to ask the question.
Does she ask the question?
She waits until he pauses, so if he paused, yes.
Yeah, he does pause.
What does ass mean?
And he looks at her. And
because it means donkey, so she's like, I'm not seeing how a donkey plays into this.
Right. May I borrow you for a second, Prin? Like, he just looks at you and waits for a response.
Okay, so really fun little story. Growing up, since I read the dictionary, I saw that it just meant donkey, and so when people were saying it, I was like, why are you calling him a donkey? Like, I don't really get it. Donkeys are like hardworking, like not getting this disconnect. So,
well, unless you call them a jackass, then you are actually calling them a donkey. But anyway, a funny story. Prin.
Yes.
Well, do you answer the captain? He asked if he could borrow you.
Of course. Yeah.
So, he literally just reaches across, grabs your hand, starts spinning you around, and he just lifts up your tail and points at your ass cheek. This, my dear,
Oh, I love
is an ass. As he just lets go of Prin's tail and then just waits to go back to telling his story.
Prin is.
You were the only one standing! Everyone else was like sitting or squatting!
Or
Prin is. Bro, Prin is. He's out of it. Because he has like. He's fucking like. Oh god, he's so glad he wears undergarments. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so glad he doesn't wear
That's
that.
an interesting thing to have to specify.
So glad he doesn't wear
Yeah,
that
I mean,
Scottish
he literally
tail.
lifted his tail. What do you
Does he,
want from him,
does
man?
he normally not?
No, he does. He always does. Like when he wears armor, because like
Unless
the armor,
he's in
the-
burrito mode, then he's buck
He has
naked.
this like the kilt that he wears is like it's like a fucking basically like a long gown, but he wears undergarments. So it's because it's fucking drafty under there. So he doesn't expect his tail to be lifted. Excuse me. God.
he did ask.
He
Oh,
did ask!
I didn't know what. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Can't be mad, you said yes! You gave consent!
No.
Oh,
Whatever.
God.
That was dubious consent at best.
Yeah.
Hey, a yes is a yes.
Oh,
God.
jeez. Okay.
Oh,
Let's
God.
Anyway,
move on.
not touching that, but so Nim understands. Okay.
So, anyway, as if that wasn't enough, then they just start lobbing oil bombs to try and stop our approach. So, at this point, I had basically had enough of this debauchery. I wasn't about to get sunk off the coast of Ardia by some hastily scrapped together siege weapon. So, I tell the ship to go broadside, and I leap out and start, just making ice floats across the water, bouncing in between so that it cuts through the oil, and I can get up there. I get up to the siege weapon, and they really have no idea what they're doing, because they look at me, and genuinely, as he turns around and places his hand on Gerald's left shoulder, who's sitting on his left side, so he's reaching around with the right, and he says, "No offense to you," and he looks back at both of you. They legit look like Gerald staring at you.
Aww.
Oh my god.
Poor
And-
Gerald.
You see Gerald's ears kind of go down a little bit. You see like a little blush go across his face.
What?
But in his defense, these are grown men. Like, they're barely wearing anything. They're sitting there in like loincloths, unga bunga. And I just look at them and I lift my sword and I bring it down and I just put a simple ice wall through the siege weapon. I mean, it breaks. It's made shoddy. It's barely able to lift it. I can't imagine why they decided. Some of them dropped to their knees, and I guess they thought I was some kind of ice deity. They start praying. Another group starts charging me, and another group starts dancing in a circle celebrating. I had no idea what was going on. They were just getting weirder and weirder as time goes on. So, I'm completely confused. And to the attacking ones that are closest, I see the Mistral lights up. Turns out Wilhelm went up, took command, and ordered a broadside right at the cliff. So I just watched the entire cliff shelf crash into the water, taking the attackers with me. And then the dancing and singing ones start praying to the Mistral. Turns out that somehow, in some way, a masonry caravan had broken down near a tribal place. And through discussing with them, they thought that the entire apparatus was a catapult and managed to somehow rig it up to be one. And they thought it was a blessing from their god of stone. So they start thinking, oh, they can raid ships. That's how the boats kept getting attacked. Because every time the boat would pass, they'd interrupt it by firing a stone pillar at it. That would sink the ship, they'd go and they'd collect the goods, and there you go. So it wasn't so much that they were actively pirates or they were actively bandits. In the end, they were a bunch of tribal people just living their lives, and because of some mishap totally unrelated, they managed to rig up a siege weapon and were just doing whatever God's name they thought they could do. In the end, of course, besides the one that attacked me and of course were killed, things happen, misunderstandings. They didn't get charged, they didn't get thrown away, but I personally think that story is cool because it's interesting to see how people take one thing and make it into another based on where they are in civilization. I don't know if either one of you think it's cool, but it's a funny little story that, has a wacky ending. I still can't believe it took us 3 months to get there. As he starts looking over to his guards, it took us 3 months to get there just to figure out something that could have honestly been handled with a small deforestation unit and a couple of Ardia troops. And the guards start chuckling and they scratch their head and say, yeah, I'm sure the minister was pleased with that report. Tell me about it. Anyway, that's the end of my story.
Nim says that was a fantastic story. But one more question before I go.
By all means.
Can you tell me what fuck means? Because Keon didn't finish explaining.
Because you walked away.
All
Yeah,
right,
no, so
it's been an amazing night. I'm so thankful for your time.
So friend literally reaches up, grabs Pin, and just pulls him back.
Good night, everybody.
Oh, no you don't. Oh, no you don't.
Free fire on his head.
So, you have to. So, what Nim saw was that Celeste got really pissed and left. And so she thinks it's something really, really bad right now. That's somehow linked to the birds and the bees. So.
Well, you see, my dear,
Why is this happening?
Is this real?
like, he's just standing there, like, with his hand wrapped through whatever he could grab onto on Prince's waist, just holding him there.
Oh,
And you just see, as he's just pausing, blue screening, Gerald starts quietly crawling out of the ship, and he just grabs him up and he starts pushing down the deck. He's gone. Both guards
So Nim.
are completely, like, looking at each other, looking at Sufren. Oh.
Nim looks to the guards, expecting an answer.
Sufren whips his head to both of them. By my grand order as Grand Tactician of the Grand Avrandali Fleet, I name you in charge of this, as he gets up and starts dragging Prin along.
Oh my god.
And
Why
they,
is everyone...
because she's obviously really young. They're soldiers, they're not prepared for this. And they look at each other, they look at her, they look at each other, and they start twiddling their thumbs.
Well.
The one on the right points to Hyala, and the one on the left goes, "Why don't you ask your party member?" As they get up and quickly start dashing away. You just hear the chink of armor. They leave the rest of it behind. Just. And there's Nim, just left completely alone in that lifeboat. Dodge!
Nim
A
frowns
dodge!
and walks over to Yala.
A dodged question from all men involved.